Hello and welcome back. You may or may not have noticed, but we've been pretty quiet on the channel during the summer. It's been a bit of a busy one, but now that the autumn's here, we are back. And to kick off, we have some footage for you from a week of carnage, to be honest, visited upon us by Storm Babet. Now, here in the north, we're pretty used to storms, but they mostly come from the north and from the west. It's extremely rare to get them from the east. Now, we were visited for a few days by Mr. Shin, who came over to see what our local conditions are like. So let's get stuck in with some footage from session number 1. Now, this session is a bit of prone foil, and it's taken in a place called Foilers Bay. This is an absolute haven for foil sports, this place. The swell wraps into the river mouth and it really cleans up. It never really peaks and throws, and it builds and holds, and it can run for kilometres. This is a prone foil session, hobbling down the rocks here into the water. The conditions are pretty messy this day. The wind's from the east, so it's pushing a bit of chopping with it, and the tide is a bit low, so the waves aren't really sizable and they are breaking. But a bit of a giggle was had by all, and we got a few rides in, and as you, I'm sure, appreciate, every day in the sea is a win. Now, the next day we had wind, so we tooled up with some 4-metre wings, started our session in the same place. This time the swell was a little bit higher, and the waves were a little bit more formed. Typically, as the GoPro ran out, the tide really did come in and gave us some really good conditions. It is a fantastic spot, this one of the local gems, and to be honest, we're still really learning and experiencing this spot. A good spot in the winter, this, chilly, but the north swells here and the north winds, just absolutely amazing. Now, the next day, we got the full force of the storm, and I've always sort of held that I don't really need a kite smaller than 9 metre, but yeah, today we ate humble pie big time. 4 of us went down. We put up Steve's 9, holding on to the back of his harness for all that his life was worth. Stuck it in the air, and you know, the kite's solid, the wind is constant, but it's on shore, and it lifted both of us clean off the deck. And this footage was taken once I managed to get the camera out of my pocket, and everything was sort of under control again. But all 4 of us looked at it, 2 of us in wetsuits, and we all got changed and went home again. It was biblically windy. 7 metre I'd have gone out, but I didn't have one in the van. I've never seen sort of solid 40, possibly even more. It was absolutely brutal. So back in the van we went, and we dived over to the other side of the river mouth, where we knew it was just going to be epic to see the swell coming in over the point. And here we are. This is the swell. Forecast today, 20 odd foot of swell coming in. It is absolutely enormous, and yeah, the surfers really weren't considering it today, but it makes for good footage. This is Saltburn. Now, Saltburn is a very popular surfing spot, but today the break has moved somewhat. Back of the break, you'd normally find 200 or 300 meters off the end of the pier. Today, it's almost out halfway to the horizon. This swell was absolutely massive, and there's no way anybody was surfing the exposed breaks today. You could kite if you had a small enough kite on the inside, but yeah, absolutely huge. Now, the next day we were left with the swell, 25 foot still rolling into our coast, and again all of the surfers congregated down by the river mouth. This is a wave that is sheltered from the full force and wraps around the end of the pier. It is pretty brutal. They get some big sets coming in, washing out the entire break, and getting out to it. There's quite a bit of current, and you see in this footage here there is a surfer just below the rocks waiting to try and get out. His mates whistle and tell him to run because there's a set coming, and when that set comes in you'll see him bolt up above the rocks, and then you'll see the set come through. This is well dodgy stuff, and to be honest, our hearts are in our mouths watching this guy. Eventually he did swim out through a lull, and this is him and his buddy who swam around the side trying to get themselves in a position where they could actually ride one of these things. We left before we saw any successful hookups, but here's a picture of him getting stuck into a pretty sizable chunk. This is dodgy stuff, and to be honest, one of the guys, I believe, at this spot on this day got pinned down onto the blast slag, which forms the area that the waves break on, and broke his femur sadly, so they had to haul him out and cart him off to hospital. Pretty nasty stuff, and not really my cup of tea, but yeah, one for the history books definitely. And the final clip we've got in this vid is here at Brunswick Bay, which is one of the tow-in spots that a couple of my buddies are really keen on. The East Coast got some absolutely fantastic swell. We get people emigrating here from abroad specifically for it. And this is a classic example. It's pretty zero consequences, these conditions today. And the guys are out there in a small boat, which they carried in themselves, towing each other in, taking turns. It's lovely watching these guys, some fantastic drone footage here. And these guys are absolutely mad keen on this kind of stuff. And they've been out there now for about 3 hours, so they're pretty close, I would reckon, to running out of fuel, and also pretty expert in rowing it in through the sets. They've not had any major dramas yet, but I'm pretty sure there's one just around the corner at some point. So in the days that followed, we had sort of more media coming in from up and down the coastline of some of the damage that Babet did. It's more down to the swell direction really than the swell size. We've seen swell like this before, but here, take a look at this photo from Sunderland. If you look at the railings, just absolutely twisted and mangled on top of the pier, and the lighthouse itself lost its protective dome. It became a convertible halfway through. This is our local breakwater on the south side of the Tees. Now this has been here decades, as long as I can remember. I've never seen them do any work on this thing. So the direction of the swell has absolutely ripped the end of it off. There's going to be quite a bit of a bill and quite a lot of repair work to fix that. Also, all of the shipping markers, again, been there as long as I can remember. Most of the outer markers have completely gone, and the inner ones have been pushed into Foilers Bay. It's just unreal, the amount of power in the swell. So that's it from us. It's been a pretty epic week over here, and we've got quite a few new videos coming, some kit related stuff, a lot of new kit coming out. We've also got some technique videos which we've got coming out soon, so I hope you enjoy those. And so until next time, I hope you're getting lots of sessions in yourself, and we will see you again very soon.